Be'ez Hashem. Today we are going to start Muktza Machmas Gufo. Okay, so we're going through the categories. You guys are becoming Bekiim in Ochas Muktza. It's absolutely unbelievable. What a schut! Eze schut yesh lecha rabotai. Okay, Muktza Machmas Gufo. Anybody here know the definition of a Muktza Machmas Gufo, as you know, compared to all the other Muktzas that we've been learning? Anybody? Any volunteers? Hey, you can come stand next to me. We'll make you famous. Anybody? Okay. No? Anybody? No, Rabbi Sai? Maybe it's got, they're listening from Williamsburg. No? Let's go. The only use is to do Muktza. You could say that's a klisha melachta le'isa, like a pen. Its only usage is really to do Muktza.
You need for yourself.
You need for yourself?
Yeah, meaning like you need a plate.
You need a plate? So a plate is Muktza Machmas Gufo.
No.
That is going to be problematic on Shabbos. Okay, so Rabbi said, let's do it like this, okay? Now, this comes from a Gemara in Shabbos Kuf Nun Daled, where it talks about it's talking actually about Yontov, about putting a pot onto a piece of wood. And the Gemara basically says, I'm not going to go through the whole sugya now, but the Gemara over there basically says that it's a problematic thing to move a piece of wood because it's not a Toras Kli. Now that basically spells out the sugya, okay? If we want to know what the sugya of a Muktza Machmas Gufo is, that is the sugya. Dover, you with me? It does not have a Toras Kli. It doesn't have, it's not a utensil. A pen is a utensil. A plate is a utensil. A pair of scissors, a screwdriver, all of these are utensils. How do you use them? That will define if it's a klisha melachta le'isa or klisha melachta leheta. Why? Because it's a utensil that's roivish damshus is either le'isa or leheta. Over here, it's not a utensil. And something that is not a utensil automatically is going to be Muktza. And the Rambam paskins this way in Perek Chavei Halacha Vav in Shabbos, brought down in the Beis Yosef Halacha L'Maisa and 7 Shenachas Zayin, that anything that is not a kli, for example, the most classic example, before we get to many more, is a
key bag, mouse, smartphone, diapers, fresh rice.
A stone. A stone is the classic example of a Muktza Machmas Gufo. It's not a utensil, you cannot use it for anything, it has no usage. Now, they taina that in Yerushalayim, all the stones in Yerushalayim have been set aside before Shabbos to throw, but you know, we don't do those things. We don't do these things. You know, they say people ask kashas like how can they touch stones as Muktza, right? So the Torah says, yeah, they set it aside, maybe yeah, maybe no, but one thing, you know, they taina. And this is a very important thing to remember, that the people that really do it, I'm not talking about the kids that see other people doing it and then they're Moreh Heta, the people that really do it, it hurts them so badly. When they see a Yid being Machal, it hurts them, it kills them inside. They're bubbling inside. They can't do anything, so they just pick up they have to do something, right? So I'm not saying that's mutter, but you can at least maybe hear the people that did it, that's where it's coming from. Al kol panim. Anything that does not have a definition of a kli is going to be included. Now, Rabbi Sai, I want to stand out a bit more. If you don't mind, I want to just go a little bit, one level deeper to understand what really is the difference between a screwdriver and a stone. What's the difference between a pen and, you know, why is there a difference? Now, there's a major nafkamina halacha l'maisa, right? What's the din of a Muktza Machmas Gufo? What are you allowed to do with it? Hello? You're never allowed to move it. A klisha melachta le'isa, you're allowed to move it so Gufo mekoyme. A Muktza Machmas Gufo is never allowed to be moved. Hashem will talk right at the end about tiltum min Gufo, tiltum min tzad. We'll talk about those types of ways of moving it, right? Maybe with the elbow. We'll see exactly how to do it. But in a regular way, it is absolutely also to move a Muktza Machmas Gufo. What is the definition? I want to tell you a beautiful explanation I heard from one of my Rebbeim, Rav Falk, who said an unbelievable explanation to explain the difference between a klisha melachta le'isa and a Muktza Machmas Gufo. Listen to this, Rabbi say, it's absolutely unbelievable. There's nothing like this in your life. It was worth getting up today and having your entire day just to hear this. It's absolutely unbelievable. David, you with me? What's that? No. Now, a klisha melachta le'isa performs the Issa. Mordechai, you with me? It performs the Issa. A screwdriver performs the Issa of Baineh or Makah B'Patish. It does an Issa. It performs the Issa. A Muktza Machmas Gufo is the Issa. It is the nail. It is the glue. It is the ink. It's used up. A paintbrush is a kli shemalachto le'issa because it performs activities which are forbidden. Whereas the paint or the glue that's on the brush is the issa. It gets used up. The nail, that's why it's Muktza Machmas Gufo. What a beautiful explanation. Let me give you some practical examples, and then we'll talk about some of the different things, okay? So like this. Stones, sticks, right? Little branches, for example, that fall on the floor. Right? Somebody just called me this morning to say that he proposed last night by getting down on one knee, which is a whole story which I'm not going into at this moment of time. And he didn't have a ring because it was on the spot. It wasn't a planned proposal, so he just decided that he took like a twig from the floor, he made it into the shape of the ring, and he gave it to her. It was on the spot proposal. Right? Obviously on Shabbos that would have been asa. You don't like it? Not very romantic, eh? He's a good yid. Anyway, the point is like this, Rabbi Say. So sticks, stones, branches, all of these things, money, cash, racks. That is Muktza, Machmas Gufo. Okay? A $20 note. What? Grass. Grass? Detached or attached? If it's attached, it's not Muktza really. I mean, it's attached, you just can't pick it up. It's a shaila. But it's detached is problematic. Yes, it's got no usage. Remember, it's not a kli and there's no usage. Yes, they're attached as long as they're not worried that you're going to come to flip them off because they're too hard. Now, coins, mud, earth, mud, seeds, growing flowers. If you're going to snap them off, we're chosher sometimes, and that's a problem. Bleach, nail polish, toothpaste. For those that keep Shabbos. Toothpaste, Rabbi Say. Okay? Again, it gets used up. What's the issue of toothpaste? Duh. Don't talk too loud because it is recorded. Oh, there we go. Mamachek, havaldik. That's the issue. Squeezing out the tube is not a problem. I'll squeeze it before Shabbos. Elamai, it's the shmearing. Makeup, sand. By the way, sand. Sand is Muktza. That means if you go to the beach on Shabbos, you got a problem. Because sand is Muktza. Okay?
You can't walk on it?
That's a different shaila if that's considered to be tiltal and not in the normal way, and therefore it's not problematic. Could be. Right? But to pick up sand, now there could be certain sand that's okay. For example, you have a sand box. Or you have sand, they sell toys nowadays with kids that like this interesting sand, I don't know what it is, that kids play with and also doesn't make such a big mess. You know what I'm talking about actually? You actually do?
I have like 6 sisters.
There we go. Excellent. Okay, got to do something during quarantine. Nails, screws, balls of thread, pieces of string, unripe fruit, by the way. We're going to talk a lot about that. Fruit that is not ripe to be eaten. Right? Snow we'll talk about maybe. Plastalina. What? Play-Doh.
Plastilina.
That's gewaldig. You got it? Plasticine. Blue thumbtack, America. Thumbtack. Blue tack. Okay? Cigarettes. Muktza Machmas Gufo. Okay? Pills. Medication. Okay? Muktza Machmas Gufo. Obviously, unless a person is a chayla or he's prescribed, then obviously it's going to be mutter. But in a situation where he doesn't need it, and whatever it is, then obviously it's okay. Dead animals. Dead animals are Muktza Machmas Gufo. Now again, there could be a heterim sometimes to sweep them up. We got a lot of shadows in this building. Okay, dead animals are Muktza Machmas Gufo. Sometimes there'll be a heta, which we'll talk about Be'ez Hashem when we get there, about things that are disgusting that we are allowed to move. Okay? But in a regular situation, all of those things. I'm giving you just the ideas of a few things. I think a roll of aluminum foil. Aluminium. A roll of toilet paper. A roll of paper towel. You can't do anything with those things because you're not allowed to rip them because that would be an issue of either Korea or Machatech or both. What? You could unroll the whole thing without cutting it.
Paper towels.
What, the ones that... Which ones?
That's what we did, Rebbe. When we went to the Kaisel for Shabbos.
No.
We just unrolled the whole thing.
Unrolled the whole thing. So maybe if there's a usage like that you could do it without having a problem of Korea, then efshar there's a usage for that then. That could be. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so that is number one. Okay, that is the basic Muktza Machmas Gufo. Is that clear before we move on? This category is going to take us a while because there are so many shaylas within this category and we have to get it clear. First shayla that we're going to get to today, and Be'ez Hashem on Sunday we'll try to discuss different things. Broken kalim. What is the din if something breaks on Shabbos? Okay? What is the din? So here we have the Gemara in Shabbos Kuf Chav Gimel. The shayla is something broke. Let's take a classic example. A glass smashed. It's no longer usable. It cannot be used for anything whatsoever. It becomes Muktza. It's a shayla in the Gemara, right? Remember this from Daf Yomi, the Gemara in Shabbos, whether we say Yesh Muktza L'Chatzi Shabbos or Ein Muktza L'Chatzi Shabbos. When Shabbos came in, which is generally, by the way, Hilchos Muktza goes L'fi Knisas HaShabbos, when Shabbos begins. But over here, if you have a glass that smashes, it's all over. It's not usable for anything. So it's 100% Muktza. You with me? It's 100% Muktza. Oh, are you allowed to clean up? So the Ramah says that it's in a mokim of hezek, there's kids around, and they're going to pick it up, or they're going to step on it, chas v'shalom, and then obviously you're allowed to pick it up, and obviously you're allowed to clean it up in a normal way. But if, for example, it's in a room where no one's going to get damaged, no one's going to pick it up, nothing's going to happen, it's 100% muktzah. You cannot touch it. You can't do anything with it. Okay, again, obviously, unless there's children or anyone over there, that's going to be problematic. But the basic din is that a kli that breaks on Shabbos, if it has no longer got any function, if it has a function, then it's going to be okay. Right, for example, let's take a small example. We've got a lot more examples to get to. We have to talk about glasses that snap. We've got a lot of shaylas to get to. But let's take a small one. Let's take a chair that the back snaps off. Is that chair now muktzah? Plastic chair. It says Eli, you can still use it. It still has a usage to it. So if it still has a usage, it's not going to be muktzah. The back will probably be muktzah. Very good. Now that's if it snapped. We'll talk about if it didn't snap. We'll talk about if it's screwed on with screws or whatever, nails, and they came loose. What's that?
The leg cracks.
The leg cracks, and you can use it or cannot use it?
You can't use it for leg cracks.
Why couldn't you use it? It has 3 legs. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It depends. It will depend if you can use it or not. But that's a different sugya. What about your glasses? What if the leg comes off? One of the arms, legs, whatever you call them, the milchik side, the fleishik side, depending which one it is. Which one comes off? Are you allowed to wear the glasses on Shabbos? That's not so. We'll have to talk about that. No, that's a big shayla. We'll have to talk about that. That's mamish, not posher. That's mamish, not posher, Rabbi say. Okay. So the general rule is if it has a usage, then it's not muktza. If it's got no usage, then it is muktza. Obviously, with the exception of things that are dangerous, and obviously people are going to get hurt, but then that's a davar posh ad ma'oid. Okay, let's move on, Rabbi Sai, to things that we throw out. Okay, disposable things. We're living in a very disposable generation. We have everything is plastic, paper, everything is disposable, everything is thrown away, used once. They even have e-cigarettes apparently, use once and throw once, few times, whatever it is, and throw them away, right? So everything's disposable. Everything's got to be instant, everything's got to be disposable. If that's the case, what is the halacha with a plastic cup in the garbage can? Halacha l'maisa, Rabbi say. You come downstairs Shabbos afternoon, you want to have a drink, there's no clean cups. There's only a cup that was in the bin, that was in the garbage can. Can I take it out? I'll wash it. Big deal. You do that at home with your glass cups by nafkamina, right? All of a sudden when it comes to plastic, nobody can wash them. Right, what's the din? Can I take it out or not? Or do we say that once it's in the bin, it's muktzah? So it's always going to be okay. I can go outside to the big garbage can outside, right before the bin people come and collect it, and I can pull it out, wash it, and use it?
Yeah, that's the most disgusting thing.
That's beautiful. I didn't discuss hygiene right now. I'm talking halacha right now. Okay? You know, you have these people that they ask a shayla and they're like, it's not nice. I didn't ask you about halacha l'maisa, muta or asa. What do you want to say? Muta. Why?
Because it has a use.
It has a use. So I want to tell you a chiddush that I heard from my Rosh Hashiva of Scheinberg Zatzal. Beautiful chiddush. He says like this. He says we have many kalim nowadays that are perfectly usable. We happen to be living, I'm quoting him, in a rich generation where we just throw things away. Whoever heard in Poland, he said, of people having a plastic cup, using it once to have a drink and throwing it in the bin? Are you crazy? Who would do such a thing? Who would take one paper cup, use it for a coffee once and throw it in the bin? Lo shamanu! Said Rav Scheinberg, just because we're living in a rich generation and people throw things out, that makes it problematic. No, it has a beautiful usage. We happen to be living in a generation that people throw it out. That doesn't mean the Kli Be'etzem has a problem. The kli is a beautiful kli. We'll talk about Rav Shaima's Kiddush, the same idea when he talks about food. We'll get to it when we talk about sushi and all sorts of frozen food in the freezer, how to take things out of the freezer, ice cream. There's a lot to deal with, Rabbi Yisai. It came along with Shaima was machalek like this, and that's this Mavor and Shulchan Aruch. That when you throw out the kli before Shabbos, then it's Muktza, even if it's usable. Which means, if you take a plastic cup, and that plastic cup, Shimon, was in the garbage can, Erev Shabbos, then you can't take it on Shabbos. Why? Because already before Shabbos, the guy was basically saying, I don't want it, I don't want to see it, I don't want to use it. But if a guy on Shabbos uses a plastic plate, I don't know, to peel an orange, and it's still clean basically, he puts it in the bin, and you want to take it out, then no problem. Because the kli mitzad atzmai is not broken. We don't look at it as broken. You hear the difference? We look at it as a gavaldige kli. It happens to be that we're living in a generation where people are spoiled and they throw out a kli after using it once, but it doesn't ruin the etzim kli. Are you with me? Is that understood? Is that clear? Now we move on. Next. Okay, so that's enough. If you throw it out before Shabbos or on Shabbos. Let's talk about another case. Let's talk about the cake, for example, right? So yesterday, Baruch Hashem, we had a very nice cake in the afternoon that was cut into pieces. It was finished. What do you do with the leftover piece? The foil, the aluminum container. No one's going to use that again, right? Nobody in the world is going to use that again. What's that?
Wash it out.
You can wash it out. But generally, if a baked cake is in an aluminum pan, no one's washing it out and using it again.
Yeah.
Moshe talks about this to Gabe Tvilas Kalim. Yeah? About Tvilas Kalim, do you have to tovel such a thing?
No, because you're going to throw it out.
Oh. Very good, Yodeh Simon. Very good. Baruch Hashem, Moedik. Okay. So, Gavaldik. More do you like that one, eh? Okay, that was rehearsed. We rehearsed that one. So, Rav Moshe says that, by the way, if you buy a badat, you know the people who, what if aluminum pans need badats on it? Like I'm going to eat it? What do you know, the people that complain about, you ever heard those complaints? What does it need a badats on it for? I'm not eating the pan, I'm eating the cake inside the pan. You hear what I'm talking about? What's the answer?
So for sure doesn't need total.
My Yodik. Baruch Hashem, Gavaldik. Levi Yitzchak, Moedik. It's made by Yidden, you don't have to tovel it. It has what? It's metal. It's written in the Torah. Pashas Matos. Pesach, because sometimes they smear it with things, and they sometimes use chemicals to sort of make it thing, and those chemicals could be chametz. Same thing with the gloves, has the starch. Anyway, how did we go into this? We're talking about Tfilas Kelim. This is Hilchos Shabbos Shir. What's going on over here? So Moshe says that if a pan that you eventually is going to get worse and worse and worse, and eventually after 3-4 times you're going to throw it out, it does not need tefillah. That's what Moshe's Kedesh when it comes to Tfilas Kelim. But we're not discussing Tfilas Kelim right now. We are discussing Muktza. And the shaila is whether the cake that was baked in the pan, is it Muktza or not, right? So Nasameh comes along and says, well, it depends. If you reuse it or you don't reuse it, right? I remember discussing this with Hagoyin Reb Zul Orbach Shlita. When we discussed the inyan of ketchup, and we talked about if you're allowed to put the lid of the ketchup back on Shabbos. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know why we're discussing this now, but this is I just want to make sure you guys, if you take the first time, I'm talking about the first time, you take off the lid, then you peel off the thing, that's what it's called. The thing, right? Yeah? And then you put the lid back on. So I sat down with Hagoyin Reb Zul Orbach Shlita, and we discussed this shayla amongst many shaylas, and this is one of the shaylas, and we came out like this. It all depends if you're American or Israeli. That's what comes out. What's the pshat? Who has the pshat?
If you're Israeli, you leave it off because whatever.
No, you're putting it back on for the first time. Tell you like this. We came out like this. If you're an American using Heinz ketchup, right? When you finish the bottle of ketchup, like you squeeze it a couple of times, nothing comes out. What do? What's the next thing? What's the next stage you do after that? You put it in the garbage. Very simple. When it comes to other people, so they will take off the lid, they'll start scooping it out and everything. My nafkamina. It's to do with Shabbos.
They might reuse it.
Oh, the problem is when you put the lid on when you put it on, it's on forever. It's a shayla makka b'patish. Shayla v'nisa d'oraisa. The Falk was masking to me on this.
For us, looking for them?
No, it doesn't really mean that. What I mean to say is if you're going to ever open it up again, it's not a problem. If you are going to, it's a constant Magen Avraham, it's a Mishnah Mem that talks about the sugi of the shoelaces. Okay, I'm not going to go right now. We have to go to Hilchos Muktza. The point is like this. How do I get onto this? The point is, like Nasameh said, if you're going to reuse the aluminum pan, then you're okay. It's not Muktza. But most people are not, so it's Muktza. That means you can't throw it out on Shabbos. It's not, remember, there's no tzarech mekaymai. It's not a klisham lachta le'isa. It's Muktza, Machmas, Gufo. I'll give another example, which again, we're very late. We have to move on. But, Aaron, we're over 20. So, if you open up a potato chips, so I'm not going to discuss now how you open up potato chips on Shabbos. Crisps. Like crisps. So, why did he do it?
He destroys the bag.
Gavaldik, Azayid! Azayid, your father. Moedik Yid. Why? Because he knows the halacha. That there's a problem of opening it up and he wants to tear the whole side, right?
But there's letters.
There's no letters on the side. No, generally not on the side, no letters. What's the problem? When you finish the chips, what do you do now? I'm stuck. I have muktza in my hands. It's a hot coal. What am I meant to do with it?
Some people lick the bag.
So I can put it down and then throw it out? Or I have to keep holding on to it? I have to keep holding on to it. You can't just put it down. You finish the milk? You finish the milk? Of course, when you finish milk, what do you do with it? You put it in the garbage can. But on Shabbos, it's problematic. Unless you're going to reuse the container, it's actually going to be Muktza Machmas Gufo. Because nobody reuses it. So you haven't even got Rishayim Svara. Nobody does. Nobody reuses a bag of milk. It's like a bag of milk, right? You can't even do that, right? You guys haven't even seen bags of milk over here. Even over here, you don't even know what it is. One America over here. We have a mini America going on over here. You don't even know what a bag of milk is. But if you have a bag of milk that we have at home, so you can't, what do you do with it? It's empty. You can't put it anywhere. If you're still beautiful, comes along Eli and says if you're still holding on to it, so then you're okay. Which is I go subject to machlokes that we discussed last time. That does this apply by klisham lachta gufo? But whatever, I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, you're 100% right. You would be okay in that case. However, if it's a type of container that you would use again theoretically, then the mitzvah you have Rav Shlomo Svara to say that you could use again. Rabbi say then it won't be muktzah. Rabbi, let me just end with one last thing. Kavaldik Gazach. What if you I want to ask you two shilas. Mordechai, you with me? Two shilas, and then we're done. Yeah. You have a key. Shimon, you have a key. They changed the lock of that lock, but I still have the key. What din is the key? 100% Muktza. Muktza Machmas Gufo. You cannot move it. Okay? No het of tzarech Gufo Mekomi. So if you have a key that they changed the lock and you still have the key, forget about it. So anybody that still has last year's master key from the old building, get rid of it because they changed the lock. Okay? Okay. One last shaila. What if you have your key to your house in America over here on Shabbos?
Muktza.
It's used
So the poskim say in this case, it is not Muktza. Because it be'etzem has a shimush, just that shimush isn't available right now. Be'ez Hashem, Rabbi say tomorrow, we will, Sunday Be'ez Hashem, we'll discuss many more different shilas. Have a wonderful, Gavaldik day.